things. I wanted to talk about what happens after you're with somebody that's a psychopath, sociopath, narcissist, really any severe personality disorder where you suffered some damage. And then I also want to talk about some solutions to that, because a lot of people don't even know it's happening and then don't know how to get out of it quickly. And I know a lot of people, say post-traumatic stress syndrome, or they'll say, it's just anxiety. And it is, and it could be both, or all the above, panic attacks. But I noticed at one point that I really wanted to drive everywhere I went. That was very important to me. And I had said to my nephew, who is 30 now, I want to drive everywhere I go. Like, I hate not being in control of being able to come and go as I please. It kind of bothers me. Like, I wish I could let that go. And I'm always a designated driver. So there's that. And he said, you don't remember the time that he left us in the mall parking lot in the middle of the night because he was mad and he kicked you out of the car? Like, literally, he's like, and you were trying to get in the back to grab the kids. And he's like, you managed to grab me and your other son, and but not the youngest. And I couldn't get him out of the car seat in time, and he took off and had to walk home in the dark by myself with the kids. And I didn't remember at the time at all, because that's something you just don't probably hold on to, bad memories. Another time he left me in Vegas with my sister, and he started when he got really upset because we were going to a Jeff Foxworthy show and I was wearing a dress, and he used to be very controlling about what I would wear. I always had baggy t-shirts, baggy jeans, whatever, because he would flip out and accuse me of trying to show things off if I wasn't dressed the way he wanted me to be dressed. I had this really cute dress. It was kind of flowy. It wasn't revealing at all, but apparently he didn't like it. So we had some friends there with us that were going to go down to the Jeff Foxworthy show. We were in the hotel room. Before they got there, I had a dress full of coffee that was ripped. It was a mess. I mean, he was... it wasn't a good situation. So I have no idea what I wore, but the friends came down to check and asked if I was okay, because clearly I probably looked a little bit alarmed in the moment. And then of course he got mad about that too. So as we were walking into the Jeff Foxworthy show, I dumped a couple of quarters into the slot machine and won a bunch of quarters. Back then we actually had real tubs of quarters. We're getting ready to leave on our way home the night later, I think it was. And he was still kind of animated about the whole dress thing. Don't know why. His brother, we stopped this little bar. I was playing pool with his brother. And so we were laughing and having fun. And he was getting very jealous. So I said, I should probably just turn those quarters in while we're here. And I went to walk out to get him, and he followed me out. And he was super animated, super angry. And my sister came out and was getting the car. And I didn't want to drive with them because I knew that he was going to drive crazy. And there's so many instances that would explain that. But anyways, I knew what was going to happen, and they may not survive that drive home, or he was going to leave me somewhere. I don't know. So anyways, he ended up hitting me in the face, and apparently somebody inside of this bar saw it, and these guys came out and grabbed me. By this time, he was pushing my sister's legs in the car, slamming her legs in the car. And they got her inside, and they said he has a gun, and so he's probably going to come in shooting. And they hit us. They called the police, and the police came and got us. No. The police dropped us off at the Boulder Casino, and he had all of our luggage, our purses, everything. So we had no money, no ID, no purse, no nothing. We were literally standing there in the middle of the night by ourselves, and I was young, and that was that. And we didn't know if he was following them, if he was going to show up, we didn't know what was going to happen. So my aunt Brandon happened to live there. I made a collect call, thank God, got her on the phone. I don't know what we would have done if she didn't live there. I have no idea. She got us on an airplane with some pictures, and I don't really know exactly how, but she swung it. I mean, back then it was a little bit different. Now this probably wouldn't work, but she took us to the airport, dropped us off. Before I could get home, he had already picked up the kids from our parents and had them. So my choices were to leave my kids there and hope they made it until the court decided otherwise, or go home. And so I had to go home. And It sucked. Like, it was very scary, but that's why I am a control freak about driving. And I never thought about it, but I must have some fear of being left somewhere. I don't know. In the back of my mind somewhere, you're only using 6 to 8% of your brain on a conscious level. So what's the rest of your brain doing? It's making sure that you breathe. It's making sure that your heart's beating. It's keeping you safe. And so what happens is, when you're in a situation, it can be anything. Let's say you get into an accident with a red car, and the red car, is prominent in your mind, and it was a traumatizing event, let's say. So every time your subconscious mind sees a red car, you might go into fight or flight mode. You might go into a panic attack. You might have anxiety. You can go through the physical symptoms where you get lightheaded, you feel like you can't breathe because all the blood is rushing, out of your limbs into your vital organs to keep you alive. There's all these things that are happening. Sometimes your hands will tingle because of that. Your heart will race. You'll have shallow breaths. All these things can happen. It's unbelievable what your physical body does. And subconsciously, you don't even know this is happening, right? So I went through this a lot when I was younger, and I went to the hospital a lot thinking something's wrong with me. And it was just anxiety. It was panic attacks. And I had no idea. I thought I was dying in the moment. I did not know. So, now I know what it is. So there's a lot of different ways to roll out of that. If you look into neuro-linguistic programming, I just finished the master's in that. It's really cool. And there's little things you can do distracting yourself. And you realize your subconscious mind, you have to reroute that. So little things like rubbing your finger and your thumb together, right? Roll them around, tap them, whatever you've got to do, and just concentrate on how that feels for a second. And just think, how does my thumb feel? How does my finger feel? And it'll take a minute, but after a little bit, your brain will start to connect. Your prefrontal cortex will engage, and you'll start to do a more conscious thought process, and you'll start to feel what's happening, and it will slow down the other stuff that's happening in your mind, and you will stop physically reacting to that. So it can be anything. It could be a smell. It can be a feeling, any of your senses. It can be a billboard. It can be something, a place that you went to, something bad. It can be anything. So just know that that's what's happening, and try to relax through it. And don't let yourself get too far out of control. Call a friend maybe. And once you start doing it, it gets easier and easier. Keep in mind, we carry a lot of stress on our shoulders because we go into the fetal position when we're scared, stressed, going through any kind of anxiety. So this is going to create a lot of tension here. So if you're feeling that, keep in mind, stand up straight, stand up tall. Posturing is really important as a whole. It actually builds your self-esteem, your self-confidence. It shows other people that you're confident. It's really, really important to do. But there are so many things that you can do in that moment. So just do them. Maybe do a full body scan. You'd be surprised if you go to relax everything in your head region, your ears, your eyes, your eyebrows, your forehead, your cheeks, your jaws, all of those things, little bits at a time. Again, engaging your prefrontal cortex, thinking about something totally different. And it takes a second to reroute your mind, but eventually you will do it. And sometimes you have to pull over in your car. If you're in your car, pull over and just take a second. And you know what? Reset. Just reset. Sometimes that's all we need to do is reset. We will come out of it and be okay. And you'll get faster and faster. And before you know it, you'll have a handle on this. At least you'll be able to identify it and get through it really, really quick. And there's a lot of different ways to learn what it is and get through it faster. So we'll cover that another time. But I just wanted to give you a couple of tips and tricks and an explanation of why, because we may not know why we react to things. And it's really important to know that that red car could be buried in the back of your mind somewhere in your subconscious mind, and you might be reacting to it. So just pay attention to that. And we'll catch up on this again. So until next time.